Welcome to Tapped In. My name is David Figueroa-Martinez of DFM Coaching, and today we're going to be discussing weaponized loyalty. A buddy of mine just sent me a screenshot of a post that was done in BJJ Fanatics group. Participant ended up being anonymous, but I'm just going to read this pretty quickly and then go over how loyalty gets weaponized against students in a way that's so underhandedly that sometimes you don't even see it coming. So this person writes, "Greetings, my coach is a black belt. The students in my gym are nice, but he lets purple belts coach most classes while he goes to train in another gym. That's wild to me. Not the purple belts part, even though purple belts are villains to me. That's not the issue. I'm fine with purple belts teaching a good portion of the classes. You as a black belt gym owner should probably be teaching some of them or have a black belt or two or however many also teaching. The fact that you go to another gym to train while you got your employees teaching classes is a bit wild. He spends most of his time there and not in his own school, and he does not come when we compete. That's another wild one. If you're not spending any time at your gym and you're spending it somewhere else, which is kind of unheard of for me, why would I stay? Why would I have any commitment or loyalty or connection to the gym that I'm at if you yourself don't care? If your students are competing, it is your job to go coach them in competition. I think I have missed maybe one or two competitions in my time as a coach, and it was just scheduling conflict. I will go to a competition, gladly will sacrifice my day to go and teach or go and coach people who are competing. They're literally competing for your flag, and you can't find time to devote to them at all is a problem. You should be coaching your students. I don't care if it's a local grappling X or some off-brand competition that's specific to the city that you're in, or if it's IBJJF or ADCCs. You should be coaching your competitors regardless. I was fortunate enough to have a purple belt that was just ride or die with me when I was coming up. And from white to blue, little into blue, he was at every competition that I was at. So that was the staple for me and how I then operated when my students decided to compete. I went to a gym where the gentleman would not coach people unless it was a bigger tournament, which I've had an issue with. I've always had an issue with that. I think that a gym, if you have a big gym, and I get it, you may not have time to coach everyone. The very least, your gym should have a cadre of instructors and coaches who can go to these events and coach people effectively. You don't have to coach everyone and you don't have to be at every event. I get it. A lot goes into owning a gym and running a gym and being the head instructor or running a program. It's difficult. I get it. But you should have something in place where your students are taken care of. If you don't, why should they sacrifice for you? Gentleman goes on to say, gentleman or woman, who knows, most of the higher ranking students have left for another gym and are all satisfied. I feel bad. I stay for he says, from loyalty, but I am debating leaving to train where the others went, where the teacher is present. That is wild. That is so wild to me. And then he or she finishes it off with anyone else in this situation. That is fucking wild to me. I've never seen something like this ever in my life. I've seen coaches who don't coach competitors. I've seen coaches who are very hands off. I've seen a lot of those things. I have never in my life seen a gym owner who trains at another facility that he does not own and that students who left went there. Like, wild to me. Some things to consider if you're in a situation or one like it, whatever. The intention of jiu-jitsu gyms are supposed to be building up culture. They're supposed to be building you up and the people around you. And there's supposed to be a partnership between you and the gym, you and the instructor, head instructor, owner, whatever it may be, where you are both putting into the results of the gym and you personally. It should never feel one-sided. It should never feel like you're putting money, you're sacrificing time, and they aren't putting in the same effort to teach class effectively to build an effective gym or to build up gym culture that supports you. If they are not doing that and you're paying, leave. Point blank. They're not upholding their end of the bargain. You should not have to do yours either. I understand some of you might be in a contract. Honestly, it's really hard to uphold those. Most gyms that you break the contract, they're not really going to go after you. It's more time than they need. Just throwing that out there. But if you're not being serviced correctly, if you're not being guided, molded, if they can't remember things about you, if they don't even pay attention to whether you come and go, you're just a bank account to them, leave. You have zero loyalty to stay in that abusive relationship where they take you for granted. You should feel like they give a shit. And what happens is a lot of these gyms, because they've built up a culture in the gym and jiu-jitsu as a whole, kind of wraps you up into, and this is going to be a bit aggressive, almost cult or gang ties. And I understand it's not a gang, but it feels that way sometimes because we have colors, we have flags, we have lineage, we have borders, we have this gym that we are paying into and we're quote unquote loyal to. And when we compete under that flag. It feels like a little army or a little gang. And in some instances, the person in charge takes advantage of that and makes people feel guilty for asking for more or for questioning them. You should be able to question your instructor about anything. You should be questioning, why do we do competitions the way we do? How come there's no one there? How do I get a coach to watch me compete and to coach me through it? That's a traumatic is a strong word, but it's traumatic for some people who've never competed one-on-one or competed at all. I've never done organized sports. I did track for a couple of weeks or a month. I don't count that. So when I went to compete, it's a beast to get into, to put your mind around, to figure out between matches. Maybe I won my match or I lost, but I got another match and I don't know how to compose my thoughts. You need a coach. You need someone who's going to be there to kind of guide you and, hey, we made a mistake here. Compose your thought, catch your breath. Not a big deal. We're going to move on, whatever it might be. But you need someone that's in there. And a lot of these places, they'll create these cult of personalities and they'll create an environment that doesn't allow for questioning, doesn't allow for debates. It's more of a dictatorship or a kingdom, and they enjoy your money, but don't want to put in the time to answer your questions and to make you feel like you're heard or seen or that you matter. They will get on you about training at other places because they don't want you to see what the other places are doing. They won't want you to go to other seminars because you'll start talking to people and you might realize that what's going on here is, quote, excuse my language, fuck shit. And what they're doing doesn't benefit you as a person. You'll realize a whole lot when you start going out to other academies. So the environments that I've been in where they did not like that had issues within them. And it's real easy, if we can, picture this like you were in an abusive relationship. If you had a friend who was dating a guy or a girl and they said, well, I don't want you hanging out with other people. I don't want you around your family. I don't want you going out without me. Well, you have to do this with me. You can't do anything outside of them. That would be a massive red flag. So why is it not a red flag for everyone in jiu-jitsu? Why do we think that's just normal because we see the gym working that way? The same rules apply in a relationship. If they're not allowing you to go and check things out on your own, there's probably stuff they don't want you to see and notice and be privy to. If you're not allowed to ask questions, maybe they don't want you to have certain answers. They don't want to have certain confrontations about things that are going on. Having contracts isn't a bad thing, but I find that the gyms that do not have contracts have better cultures. And it's not a blanket statement. It's just something that I've experienced on my own. When you have a contract, and again, that's not a bad thing by itself, but if I get people in I got them for a year. Now, if I don't have a contract at all and they can go wherever they want, they can cross train and I'm open to it. I encourage it. I will often sponsor people to go to seminars that I think will benefit them. I go out of my way to encourage them to have experiences outside the gym so they can see what's going on. They can see the kind of training and coaching that I have versus everyone else. And I want them to flourish in elements that I don't do well with. But at the same time, I also, there's no contract. The gym owner does not do a contract at this gym. So people, you can leave. If we're not doing the job that we're supposed to be doing, if I'm not the coach that I should be for you, you're well within your right to leave. And I understand that. And because I understand that and there's no contract, I can't hold you in. I have to give you the best product possible. And there's going to be times where my product may not be for everyone. And I'm okay with that. But I operate in a way that you're going to feel seen. You're going to feel like you matter. I'm going to give you advice from time to time. I'm going to roll with my students. I try to roll with everyone at least semi-regularly. Try to be present. I give advice regardless of whether I see you all that often or just like every so often. But I'm engaged in your process because I want to see you get better. And that better may not be as a lifetime student, but I'm still invested in making sure that you get better at what you're getting from me. A lot of these gyms are fear-based. They will threaten you, maybe not outwardly, or they'll hint at promotions. They'll hint at the importance of loyalty. They'll mention the word loyalty, which to me is a red flag. They will commend people for being loyal. And in and of itself, you may not think that's a bad thing, but how do I convey a message to the people around me of what kind of behaviors I want without mentioning it? So this gentleman, whoever, might be doing a lot of free things for the gym. They might be going out of their way, carpentry, cleaning the mats. They retrofitted the gym for offices or a gym or whatever it might be. They did all the work and they didn't really ask for anything. The gym in a toxic place will view that as loyal and they'll speak to that publicly. They'll mention loyalty, and then you, as a white belt, and a blue belt, someone who's not as experienced, will then think my job or the way I show loyalty is to do things free for the gym. That's not every gym. A lot of gyms will pay you for the work you do, or they'll find a way to pay you. You're like, hey, I'm going to give you private lessons. I'll give you 5 for the work you do, or whatever the equivalent is. And you guys agree and you move on. Or I reduce your payment, or I let you train for 3 months for free or 5 months for free in exchange for. So that's a way of, that's fine. But you'll find that some of the toxic gyms will not do any of that. And they'll commend you and they'll pat you on the back and they'll say you're loyal, and they'll give the speech to the gym about how loyal this person was. They did this and they didn't really ask for anything back. And then everyone in the gym thinks that that's the form of loyalty. In reality, you should not even mention loyalty to your students. I don't have to mention loyalty to my wife. I don't have to mention loyalty to my friends. It's not a conversation we have. It doesn't come up. So it's weird to me that these people who are in these toxic, almost cult-like situations that they've created mention loyalty so much. Why would you need to? Just do the work, create the environment that suits most students, create an environment that builds students up where they feel comfortable asking questions, and you never have to mention loyalty again. People just stick around because you give a shit. It's not that hard. So you're going to have all these moments, and these people will continue to take your money without batting an eye and don't give a shit if you're happy or not. They don't care if you have any issues. They won't send out surveys to let's see how the gym is doing or how people are feeling. I do that every December for my program. They won't go to your competitions. They won't go out of your way to make sure that you're okay. They won't, when you're gone, they don't check on you. Like you could have been gone 2-3 weeks. They don't check. And I understand you're not going to be able to do that for every student all the time. but it should be a pattern of, hey, I haven't seen this person in a minute. Let me check in. Hey, I haven't seen such and such in a minute. Has anyone seen him? Hey, front desk, I know we haven't had these students sign in 3-4 weeks. Check in on them. That is a huge plus, and it should be doing, but some gyms just don't do any of it. And they see that you're still paying and they're fine. It's a weird situation. It's the one place that jiu-jitsu is the one place that I've experienced it in. I know it happens in churches and relationships and other venues, but the jiu-jitsu format is the most insidious for me because so many people come into this lifestyle because they've gone through some things and they need help. You might have been bullied. You may have had a traumatic upbringing. You may have confidence issues. You may have been assaulted. There's all these big reasons of why people come to jiu-jitsu or martial arts in general. And they want to get there because, well, I have XYZ going on and I want to improve these things and feel better about myself. And I want community and I want to be able to have a brotherhood or a sisterhood. I want to have mentors. And you step into the space and you're not aware of the things that are going to potentially happen, especially from bad environments. And before you know it, you're sucked in. And now you're paying loyalties to a gym and a person that they don't care. They don't care about you. All they care about is the money that you're giving them every month, the seminars that you might be forced or asked to pay, and the private lessons that you're paying, but they don't really care about you or your well-being. And they just take advantage of you slowly, and they'll ask you to do things for cheap or free, and they don't give you the value in return. They'll alter agreements one-sidedly. They won't make agreements that benefit you both. Like there's a list of things that I've experienced that aren't beneficial and aren't helpful, and it just screws with a student's psyche and confidence because they doubt themselves. They wonder if they should continue to be in this position and be loyal, and they don't want to be labeled disloyal or viewed in that way. So they stick around longer than they need to. I stuck around longer than I needed to. And you just get to a point where you have to make decisions for yourself that you deserve better. You're paying for a service. This is a service just like everything else. There's no difference in this service than 24-hour fitness or Bally's fitness. You have a pool service or some service on your AC unit or your mechanic. None of these things have any built-in intrinsic value when it comes to loyalty. They do the job correctly at a fair price, go out of your way with customer service, and you're loyal because of that. Not because you feel like, oh, I've been here long enough, but now the price got jacked up and they don't treat me very well when I come in through the door. They only call me when the price is going to go up or whatever it might be. You have to feel like you're getting just as much out of this as they are. And they have to go out of their way to give you the customer service that you deserve. And you should be respected and commended and valued. And if they don't do the things that you feel that they should be doing, you're not being disloyal, they are. There's nothing wrong with looking in other gyms. There's nothing wrong with going another route. And it's going to happen. Eventually, you just have to decide when. And it's not a fun experience. It's heartbreaking sometimes, and it's difficult, and it's emotional. But this person here who wrote this, you got to make a decision. They obviously don't care enough that they aren't teaching at the gym. They aren't coaching anyone. They aren't going out of the way to make sure you're good and improving. Why stick around? If you have any issues like this or have any questions on jiu-jitsu, please hit me up, dfm.2099 on Instagram and Threads. You can hit me up on the website. Lastly, I have a school community free of charge. It is DFM Coaching BJJ. Again, it's free. Just go on school, look me up. Also, link is in the show notes. I have videos, audio series, just a bunch of stuff that help people kind of get better at jiu-jitsu, and really, that's all I want to do, help people get better. Thank you so much. Until next time. Oh, one more thing. This is episode 60. Huge. Thank you so much for everything, the shares, the reviews, the support, the comments that I get from people. Genuinely appreciate it. Thank you so much.